Hello everybody, this is Doc Ian coming to you on Monday the 25th of April 2016. Starting out with a finished Dark Wizard. He's, well, I think pretty close to the original that I was, on the DVD I was following. It's really hard to see the inner robe now, to get some light in there, because the outer robe covers so much. But the important thing here is that it is one of my first attempts at NMM technique. Really only the second model ever that I've done a serious attempt at non-metallic metal on. All the gold trim here and on the hilt there and on the inside robe, and the steel on the sickle and the sword. And it is by no means perfect. I am not fully convinced by the effect myself, but it's better than my first try, so I'm improving. And overall, it's a nice, it was a good learning experience. Let me just say that. Now, putting him down, we have the animals I've painted. The gorillas are just really basic jobs. Lighter on the back, being silverbacks. Maybe they should be lighter on the legs as well, but oh well. And then we have the cats. We have the two pumas, or cougars, or mountain lions, or whatever you want to call them. They're just shaded as simply as I can manage them. Just give them a, you know, the way many animals are, for some reason, lighter on the bellies and darker up top, which it is difficult to paint because it goes completely against the usual zenithal highlighting scheme. They should be lighter on top, but no, a lot of animals are actually darker on top. So you have to make the base color darker up top, but still have highlights in the darker color, so to speak. Well, you know what I mean. And the leopards. Now, these are on larger bases. These are on 40 mil bases instead of 30. It's not because the models themselves are that much bigger in size. The actual cats are not that much bigger. It's just the way they're based, the stances and the poses of them made them pretty much impossible to put on 30 mil bases, so they had to go on 40s. And so I practiced painting leopard spots. It is a test of patience. You know, on this side I managed to make a lot of really small dots, and then I ran out of patience and there were fewer and larger spots on the other side. So, and on this one they're all pretty large. I probably, you know, when painting leopards I should not feel rushed. I should take more time, is the conclusion. But otherwise, they're okay. Nobody's going to look too closely at them. Run-of-the-mill creatures. And so these 7 models are my completed pile for this week. Work in progress. The Spawn Mother, still chugging along. I don't know if you can tell any difference, but I have actually been working on the highlighting of her. It's kind of subtle, but I'm starting to get an idea of how to finish this model. At least some sort of semblance of an idea. For the other Malifaux model I'm working on, the Hooded Rider, not a lot. I think I haven't touched it since last week. You've seen it. And the other big thing I'm still working on is this tree. Again, I think you've seen pretty much this level of completion before. I'm not feeling inspired by it right now, so I'm probably just going to put it to one side and we'll see. what happens, but at least the spawn mother, like I said, I have some image in my head of how to finish her. So that'll probably get done. And here we have the spiders I started last week. They have been primed and given base coats, just very simple basic brown for the legs and a dark green for the bodies. I'm not sure yet what I want the final color to be, so I went with something dark as the base. And I used the exact same colors for the big spider. I think I want at least the body of this to be different greens, so to differentiate them a little bit. But we'll see. And I started to work some more on their bases, and these are based on the Basius basing stamps from Wargames Bakery. This is the forest floor one. So this texture is supposed to represent the, you know, cover of leaves and undergrowth in a forest. Honestly, I don't know how it works on a stamp base this size. It just kind of looks like a random texture that could be anything to me. I don't see the leaves. Maybe if I looked at it, you know. Anyway, what I'm gonna do is the detail is very fine, very small. So there's no way to paint it by brush. I'm just gonna base coat, dry brush, and give it a wash, and let the wash pick out the details, and we'll see what it looks like in the end. And oh, by the way, why this pale green stuff here is a mixture of about half green stuff and half milliput that I've started using to stamp these bases. It sets harder than just green stuff, which I like, and it takes detail better, but it's not as difficult to work with as pure milliput. Now for the big base, covering the whole base with this mixture of milliput and green stuff would have been really tiring and kind of expensive. So I just did like a pile of this forest material in the middle and included the parts of the stamp that had the fallen logs. And then I added some little pieces, like here is a little resin bit, which, I don't know if you can see, it has a human skull and it has the ribs of some other dead animal. And here I've stuck an almost decomposed victim in the ground. There's still some flesh left. This is a ghoul face from Mantic, and a skeleton rib cage and arm. The arm looks a bit small compared to the head, but that's because all the flesh is gone from it. It's a skeleton arm. And here's like a broken spear sticking out of the ground. And the rest is just basing grit in two different grades. Yeah. It looks really messy now with all these different materials on it, but priming it and then painting it is going to unify the whole thing and make it look natural and together. So this whole spider project isn't too difficult to finish up. Should be done by next week. At least the small ones. They're not a problem. So is there any new business? Well, you know, I always like to have something in the pipeline. Now I'm going to show you a few things that I'm looking at maybe starting up painting, but I gotta warn you that in practice I'm not sure any of this will even get unpacked from their blister packs or whatever by next week, because I've got so much other stuff to do. But if I do find the time, these are the things that I will want to work on. First off, this is a Malifaux model called the War Wabbit, and it doesn't come in a box or blister or anything. This is a very special edition model, so it just came in this plastic bag. It is an alternate sculpt of a model called the War Pig, where it says Beast Pig. It's a beast so I can use it with Marcus, even though it's a gremlin model. You see there's a big rabbit being barely ridden by two gremlins. You can see it's all on one sprue with a lot of little bits on it. Well, you cannot see clearly through the plastic. Let's do an unpacking here so you can see exactly what we have here. We have the body of the wabbit. We have a sculpted base, which is nice. Included the wabbit ears, and these are all the little body parts for the gremlins, I believe. Lots of finicky detail to put together, but it looks fun. And I've downloaded the PDF with the build instructions. And other stuff not intended for any special game, just for the heck of it. I have these Chronoscope minis, which is the sort of sci-fi or pulp or steampunk range that Reaper Miniatures has. And I've got 3 models from that range here. One is PB Pew Pulp Hero. If you can tell from the way he looks, the pants and the open shirt and the Widow's Peak hairdo, this is a Doc Savage copy, pure and simple. This girl, Rosie Johnson Chronotech, is, I don't think it's modeled after anything in particular. It's just a sort of a woman in a work outfit and carrying on her shoulder either an automatic rifle or a huge freaking wrench. And of course I'm going to go with a wrench. I mean, because models carrying rifles are a dime a dozen, but how many models do I have that carry a tool like this big? Yeah. And finally, we have the lab mutant, who, well, he looks like a lab mutated dude with lots of muscles and a mohawk. Seems like a fun concept. That's what I'm thinking of painting next. And so we get to this show and tell section where I demonstrate why those numbers have worsened since last week. The gap is closing, unfortunately, and probably it will close even more soon because I'll be getting in even more orders. But anyway, this is a order that arrived from Otherworld Miniatures, and I thought I'd do a slight unboxing for you. It's my first... Well, let's unpack all this and cut to that. This is my first order of Otherworld Miniatures, and it's not normal miniatures. It's stuff that's, when I ordered it, I intended it for use for various purposes in Frostgrave. First off, there was a set of their statues. For some reason, 2 of these come in blister packs. They're the same ones. And the rest are in various baggies. These are the various braziers and things they are holding with some flames. And here's a couple more of statues. These are the demon statues. And here's some more, and here's even more. I bought 2 sets of 4, so there's the 2 identical ones of each. And let's see, so these already have flames sculpted in, as do these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. I'm not sure, there's 10 of these things, but only 8 flames. Not sure if that's correct, but oh well. If I use them in Frostgrave, it's kind of hard to explain why these have kept burning, even though the city's ruined. But, well, I'll figure something out. And this is a collection of casualties of various dead adventuring types. And again, I think, how many do I have? 3, 6, 8, 10, and and again, there's 2 of each. There's 5 different versions of them, so I have 2 of each, and they're on pretty large bases. Not sure why. Well, probably because they're lying down, so they take up more space. Anyway, might get around to those. I actually have a lead. I had a game of Malifaux with a new opponent, a guy I hadn't played before, and we got to talking about other games, and he mentioned that he has some friends. He's in a club that is planning a Frostgrave campaign. So I thought, well, since my old friends are dragging their feet with that, maybe I'll jump into this new club and see if they're more active and I can get some games in. And that could like reinvigorate my desire to paint stuff for Frostgrave as well. So here's hoping that works out. It'll be sometime during the summer or towards the end of the summer that they get started. So it's not a huge rush, but it's on the to-do list. Anyway, that'll be all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope I'll see you again next week. Until then, I'm Dakian, and I'm signing off.